Yeah, listen, I can't make it later.
You can't make it?
Yeah, the tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story, so I gotta kind of get ready. I'll see you.
All right.
Yeah, listen, I can't make it later. You can't make it? Yeah, the tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story, so I gotta kind of get ready. I'll see you. All right. Yeah, listen, I can't make it later. So when we do this can't sound, you guys, make sure we stretch the short A, can't, and stop the T. Okay, we want to stop that T. We don't really want to cancel it. It's possible to cancel the T, but don't. Stop it. So can't, but we're not going to finish the T. Instead of T, we're just going to go to the T. Can't, but just stop. Can't. If we canceled the T, it would be like this. Can. We don't want that. We want can't. It's got to stop. I can't make it later. Make it later. A lot of people miss the word later. Yeah. Jerry repeats, you can't make it. You can't. Once again, stretch it out. Stop the T. You can't make it. You can't make it. Yeah, the tenant association. Now, we've talked about this twice already. And I told you, tenant, is that a common word? Not really, right? So we don't have to finish the T, tenant, but we should probably stop the T, tenant. But we stop it, okay? Because it's not a common word. However, in this assignment, tenant, we've used it and heard it several times. This word is becoming common. It's becoming a word that we use a lot. And I told you, if we use this word a lot, that T can be canceled. And that's exactly what George did. We have strong sounds, S and L. We have weak sounds, D, T, T, H. These strong sounds can cancel the weak sounds, and that's exactly what happens right here. This N is a strong sound. It cancels the T, okay? And what happens is, the next word is association. This N actually links over here. So we have tenant association. Yeah, the tenant association. Now we have the word has. Also, we have the word he. And we have another rule called the 7 H's. He, her, him, his, had, has, have. When these words show up in the middle of a sentence or at the end, especially in the middle, typically we cancel the H. And that's exactly what happened in both situations. We have to link. Association as. Perfect pronunciation, association has. But George said association as. Here is he. But Elaine said, is he? There's no H. The tenant association as decided to. Now, the word to has 7 pronunciations. Ta, da, ta, da, t, d, and to. And t and d are the most common. Almost always it's t and d. So let's just take the word decide to. So basically, both are fine. Decide to, d and t. Decide to hear, decide to hear. Both are fine. So typically, if it's an aspirated sound, we're going to keep the T. If it's a vibrated sound, we're going to keep the D, but not always. So again, this is a D, and you will hear both decide to. Here, it's past tense, so decided to, decided d. You're going to hear both, d and t. I do want you to know, because it's the same pronunciation, we're going to put it together. If it were just decide to. But it's past tense, decided to. And I believe George used the d pronunciation, right? I think he said d. So the tenant association has decided to hear my side of the. Now we have the word of. We have it here too. And if the word of is followed by a consonant of th, th is a consonant, of get, g is a consonant. If it's followed by a consonant, cancel the V. And this can also happen with the word of, the suffix have, and even the word have itself. So in this case, side of the, we got linking, right? Of course, there's linking here. Side of the, perfect pronunciation, side of the. But again, I just said we can cancel the V, so side of the, side of the, side of the. Schwa, schwa. It's got to be fast. Decided to, side of the. Decided to, side of the, side of the story. The tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story. I know it's fast, but we need to practice. The tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story. The tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story. The tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story. So I gotta. Here, I gotta is actually I've got to. And it's canceled. I gotta, I've got to is so common in daily English. We simply write I gotta. Grammatically, we should write I've got to. But again, in daily English, I gotta, it's what we say, I gotta. I gotta kind of get. Once again, consonant, get rid of the V. Kind of get, kind of get. I gotta kind of get. I gotta kind of get. I gotta kind of get ready. I gotta kind of get ready. I gotta kind of get ready. I'll see ya. You has 3 pronunciations. You, ya, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, in both cases. I'll see ya. I'll see ya. I'll see ya. Yeah, the tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story, so I got to kind of get ready. I'll see ya. Jerry says, all right. We don't hear the L. And I call that a ghost L. It's there, but we don't hear it. The sound we hear is actually just AW. All right. All right. All right. And Elaine actually did the same thing. She said, all right, down here too. The ghost L. So we don't need that L. By the way, in PIRF, I would want to hear it. All right. All right. All right. But in DDM, we're not going to hear it. All right. Jerry's house. The phone rings and Jerry picks up. Hello? It's George. Hey, George. Yeah, listen, I can't make it later. So they have some appointment, 5 o'clock. We'll meet at the coffee shop. But George is calling to say he can't make it. I won't be able to go. You can't make it? George says, yeah, the tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story. And I told you guys yesterday, why did you write the attendant? That was confusing. Yeah. He says the tenant. The tenant. He doesn't say the attendant. The tenant. Okay. So remember, George wants to move into a new apartment, and they were going to give him this very nice apartment. But at the very end, they decided to give it to an old man who, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, had a terrible experience on a ship called the Andrea Doria. The ship sunk. Now, he survived, obviously, but it was just a terrible moment in his life. So the tenant association, they're the government of the apartment building. Not all buildings have it, but some do. The tenant association decided, wow, George is still young. He can get a nice apartment later. This old man has experienced a terrible thing. Let's let him have the nice apartment. So they gave it to him because of his tragic, terrible, sad story. But George is arguing with them. Hey, I have a terrible, tragic, sad story too. So you should give the apartment to me. My terrible story is worse than the old man's. So the tenant association has decided to hear. They're going to listen to George's side of the story. They're going to listen to George's tragedy. What tragedy did George have? We talked about it in the last Seinfeld, The Astonishing Tales of Costanza. So I got to get kind of ready. I have to prepare for this interview and get my story really sad. So maybe I'll get the apartment. I'll see ya. Jerry says, all right. Elaine is there. She says, is he not going to go to the coffee shop?
Yeah, listen, I can't make it later.
You can't make it.
Yeah, the tenant association has decided to hear my side of the story, so I got to kind of get ready. I'll see you.
All right.